Well, in this video, we are going to be talking about gift mastery as it pertains to team leadership. There are 6 practices of gift mastery. 2 of those practices really do relate to how you lead your team and how you develop others around you to practice this element of the whole leader framework. So we're going to talk about gift mastery and team building practices. We're going to talk about what it means to have a leadership pipeline. And I'll give you some reflection questions and some prompts for planning actions. And we're really scratching the surface in this video. There's lots of resources out there for you to discover and even dig deeper into what it means to build a leadership pipeline for your team and help them discover what gift mastery can mean for them. Let's start with a quick definition of what gift mastery is. And by the way, if you don't know too much about gift mastery, I'd encourage you to go back to the other video where we dig into a major definition for what gift mastery is. But by way of this video, I want to share with you that gift mastery is a practice within the framework of the whole leader. It's related to vocational excellence along with calling, clarity, and passionate incarnation. Gift mastery is the ongoing pursuit of greater impact in one's calling by maximizing existing gifts and strengthening areas of weakness. Now, the 2 practices I mentioned earlier that are really focused on team development are I challenge and provide opportunities for my team members to further develop their strengths. And then secondly, I compensate for my weaknesses by building a team with a diversity of strengths. You have a great opportunity as a leader to develop the people around you in a way that's safe, that's systematized, and that's well-resourced. To do that, you can create a pipeline that helps people practice this gift mastery as part of a healthy discipleship culture. Oftentimes we confuse or maybe we juxtapose discipleship to leadership development, but I submit to you that they are really one and the same. There's an opportunity to develop leaders as they are being made into disciples of Christ, and I warn you about separating those 2 elements of development. Demonstrating your own practices as well as intentionally building a system for others to grow stronger in this practice of gift mastery can take time, but it's worth it. It's worth it to demonstrate it because more gets caught than taught in this area. The near-term future work of yourself and your team and the check-ins related to those will pay off huge dividends as they grow in their understanding of what it means to be a whole leader. To do this, it's going to require safety. Some of your team members might not be comfortable talking about their strengths, their weaknesses. Maybe they've been burned in the past by a conversation like that, where they felt like they were either taken for granted or their weaknesses were met with recompense, and people really didn't feel like it was a safe space to communicate those things. So take care in the way that you engage with these conversations. Build safety. What are the systems in your space like around this idea of building up leaders to move into the next? Weekly one-on-one meetings as reviews and support of objectives and goals can be a great way to develop systems for them to know how to grow and build their own saw, or I could say sharpen their saw of leadership. Resources are going to be a critical part of that leadership pipeline. Offering training modules, providing development opportunities for your staff are key components of helping the people around you grow in their competencies, growing in their strengths, identifying their weaknesses, and moving forward to maximize their impact on the team and beyond. As we reflect on this concept of gift mastery for your team, I want you to think of safety in your space. Does your team feel comfortable and confident to come to you and talk to you about where they feel strong and weak? When's the last time you had a conversation with someone in your sphere of ministry about where they really do feel strong and where they feel like they could grow or an area of in need of improvement? Do they have the systems and resources in place to be able to move forward in that leadership pipeline? I would ask you, if we're talking about safety, systems, and resources, which of those really does need attention from you this week, this month, this year? Reflect on that. Take some time. Second, who are the leaders you would invest in this week? Now, I know that sounds blunt, but I would ask you to resist the temptation of paralysis in this space. Sometimes we just think, oh, it's so big, it's so hard. I'm not in the midst of this conversation to try to rebuild my whole organization. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Maybe it's as simple as asking yourself the question, who can I invest in this week? Who's that person for you? Thirdly, what is your current practice of helping your team practice gift mastery? So I know that sounds weird, a practice of practice, but how are you intentionally creating space in your day-to-day life to help others grow in their gifts and talents and even identify them before growing them? There's lots of assessments out there, lots of tools we can use to do these kinds of things, and people you can reach out to get the help you need. On that point, I'd ask you, in the way of last reflection questions for this piece of the video, who's doing this well? When you think about someone who's developing leaders, who comes to mind? Is it possible that you could reach out to them and ask them for some advice, ask them for some help, and even ask them what's worked well for you to developing leaders in your space? And learn from that, potentially even ask them to mentor you for some time. So as we wrap up this video on the topic of gift mastery for your team and you developing that strategy, I want you to take some time to really specifically, tactically lay out an action plan for yourself. Be specific about your commitments. Get them on the calendar. Choose today to do something different because of the importance of the whole leadership of your life. Thank you so much for taking the time today to devote to your team and to yourself the idea of gospel-informed vocational excellence in the way of gift mastery.